What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dark Souls 2 walkthrough. So we're going to continue in the Crown of the Old Iron King DLC. Meet some bosses in this episode. First of all, I'm going to change my equipment back. I'm going to take out the veil off that gave me the curse resistance. I don't need that anymore, so put my regular hat back on. And we're going to travel to this bonfire that was right in front of where the Fume Knight's boss room is. The lowermost floor is what we're headed for. So we're going to make a mad dash right to the fog gate. We're going to ignore the giant dudes that spawn on the way. And the boss fight does not start directly upon entering the fog gate. So you have time to buff once you walk in. The boss does not start until after you get closer to the middle of the room. So this is the Fume Knight. This is a very interesting boss. Quite difficult actually, but this weapon, this build actually does very well against him, I find. So we should be all right. He has two phases. The second phase, he hits much harder and has some kind of dark-based attacks. So you'll see when we get there. For the most part, I mean, you just strafe, you'll avoid most of his attacks. He hits you back away and heal. But fortunately, for us, we do pretty solid damage to him. And his attacks with the big sword there are pretty slow. But I was out of stamina, so I got hit by that one, so I'm gonna back away and heal. And as I said, if you leave those Ashen Idols alive, they can heal him if he goes to one of those corners. So you see I dodge and attack, that's pretty much the MO here. So triple combo there, with one hit in, and you see we're doing crazy good damage. And took a couple hits there, so whoops, few hits there, so I definitely need to, oh, dang it, he got me. One thing that I didn't do that I should have done is you can, I think he's one of those bosses that if you rush in and start attacking him, he takes the damage before the fight even starts. So I'm gonna do that this time. I'm going to revive myself and rest of the bonfire to get all of my health back, every last ounce of health. In my first playthrough, I found the Fume Knight to probably be the hardest boss in the game. I don't know if I necessarily still agree with that, especially with this build, but he gave me a lot of trouble in my first playthrough. So don't be discouraged if he takes you quite a number of tries. All right, so I'm gonna buff up, and then I'm gonna run in and start hitting him right when I get to him, and it should you should take that damage. So get the souls when he spawns in. I'm gonna start hitting him. And you see his life bar, he starts with a lower life bar, which is enormously helpful. You see his attacks are quite powerful. He's got a lot of combos, can be pretty dangerous. And he likes to punish healing. And I'll say he'll transform close-ish to half health. You'll see it's pretty obvious when he transforms. He imbues his sword and he starts firing projectiles. So there he goes. And that, yeah, I see his attacks are a bit more powerful now. And I'm trying to get my health back, and I'm not succeeding. He does have an AoE where he does that, and these orbs are going to come out. You want to make sure you dodge them. I'm going to double chug here. Got that kind of ranged leap attack. But if you kind of dodge and strafe to the left, you'll generally be good. I'm getting my stamina back here. So dodge. And you have to watch for those combos. Watch for the tells of when he's going to hit multiple times. He's going to do his orb attack here. So roll through the middle. Don't get hit by those orbs. You got stunned there. Then I got punished for being greedy, which is just fine and dandy. So again, mostly dodging to the left here, especially in his second phase, is a good strategy. Watch out for those combos, though. Let my stamina come back a little bit so I can... I got caught with no stamina. Ooh, got caught in that combo as well. Heal up here. Ooh, okay, dodge that. Very good. Probably a little bit greedy to go for a hit there. All right, make sure I dodge these orbs. Use that as an opportunity to heal up. And one more hit maybe should get him. And, ooh, we're done. Very nice. Second try for Fume Knight, not bad at all. We get the soul of the Fume Knight and a soul of, so we get a Nadalia fragment for doing that as well. Let us check out the soul of the Fume Knight. Soul of Fume Knight that guards the dungeon of Broom Tower. Rame, that's his actual name, was a distinguished knight who became infatuated with the Bride of Ash and settled in the land of smoke and fog. The wondrous soul of this knight can be used to acquire numerous souls, blah, blah, blah. We learned that his name is Rame. And here, in interact with this, we get the crown of the old Iron King. So like the crown of the Sunken King that we got in the previous DLC, this crown does have kind of a special power. If you equip it, it regenerates your spell usages every couple of minutes. Like not fully, but you get a certain number of spells back if you have it equipped. And we got a ton of souls from that fight, so I'm definitely going to be spending some in Majula. So we learned his name. His name is Rame, and we're going to learn a little bit more about him later as well.
Bearer of the
I'll kind of dive into his lore in a bit. All right, we'll go on and take that vigor up. And then I'm gonna pop some soul items to get some more. One more level. I forget what I need. 45, 689. That should do it. I don't know if it's quite worth it to really be upgrading endurance much anymore, because you only get one extra stamina for doing it, but you get the extra HP as well. I don't know how much more stamina one extra endurance gives you, but go on and upgrade it. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to go back to this bonfire, the foyer. And then we're going to go up the elevators to a door that was previously locked. We have the key to that door. It's the same key that opened this door. And now that we've beaten the Fume Knight, there is an event that we can trigger that I do not believe that you can trigger until after you beat the Fume Knight. Just wait for the elevator to come back down. And this boss is a bit tricky as well. There is a Ashen Idol on the way. Oh, I want to go, yes, this elevator right next to the one we just came up. We came up that one, we want this elevator right next to it, and then we're going to go to the left. This boss is a bit tricky, and there is a Ashen Idol right on the way, which is why we saved that one extra smelter wedge. You want to use it here. Much more important to use it here than it is to use it at the beginning. And after beating this next boss, we're going to get the final smelter wedge to use against that Ashen Idol that we skipped at the very beginning. There are invaders here, and the invader can get healed by this idol here, so we want to use the wedge to take the healing away. And these guys can be tough. Not gonna lie. Kind of same routine as always. Taking a couple hits here, but nothing too horrible. One more hit. And with a horizontal swipe, there we go. Make sure you pick up the soul fragment. So we should have 11 of the soul fragments now, because there's only one left. Yes, we do. We have 11 soul fragments, which is perfect. All right, we go up here. More of them spawn. I am going to need a repair at some point, so I'm going to go on and have it kind of ready to go. You see, yeah, there's a lot of these guys. And you don't get rid of that Ashen Idol, they're all going to be able to heal. I'm bleeding, not good. I need to heal. And my durability is not doing super great. 2 of them are almost dead. There we go. Got the first one down. I do need to restore durability here. Probably would have been a good idea to actually go on the elevator. Or actually, well, they're leashing, so that worked as well. This one I haven't even hit yet. Got the Berserker Blade. Wow. It's actually a fairly rare drop, I believe. All right, did the other ones retreat? Where are you? There you are. Just one left? Fortunately, there is a bonfire up here, so we can restore everything, durability and whatnot. So this set of armor actually is going to lead us to a memory. And this memory, as I said before, or kind of mentioned before, is not available until you beat the Fume Knight, I believe. Okay, this memory, it gives you the message that you can't stay in it forever, just like the other memories do, but I'm pretty sure you don't ever get kicked out of this memory because of time. And there are items in this memory, so we're going to be picking those up in addition to fighting the boss. And this is one of my favorite bosses in the game. This boss and the Fume Knight are 2 of my favorite bosses in the entire game. So needless to say, I think this is my favorite DLC and probably even my favorite area in the entire game. Just considering the level design is pretty high up there, top tier, at least especially by Dark Souls 2 standards, and the bosses are some of the best of the game, I think. One cannot reside in the memory for long. I don't believe you ever get kicked out of this memory. At least I've never been kicked out of this memory, so. You see, these Alonne Knights are beefed up versions of the ones we fought in the Iron Keep. They don't go down in one hit. And you notice there is a salamander over there, and there are a ton of the Alonne Knights in here. So do proceed with caution. Don't take the bait for those items just yet. We're going to take care of that flame salamander before we do, because we don't want to be barbecued. So run across. You can get to the flame salamander by going through here. I'm going to see if any of the knights follow me. Yep, they are. I don't want to get cornered by him when I'm trying to get the salamander. Oh, I should have hit both of them. Come on. Oh, jeez. Oh, I might be screwed. Oof. Yeah, that was lucky. That was really lucky. Took another Estus. Should be using life gem so I can save Estus for the boss. But now once you get behind this flame salamander, he's basically defenseless, which is nice. And now we can pick up these 3 items. Smooth and Silky, Human Effigy, and some spice. And we're going to take this path for a rusted coin. 3 of them, I should say. We're going to go all the way to the back. And then there's a captain over here, so I'm going to get his attention. Oh, there's another one over here too. Dang. Ah, that was bad. It's not an ideal situation. Trying to... There we go. Don't need that in my life right now. Oh, that's right. They don't pancake. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Rah! Dadgummit. I knew it was trouble. So, normally when I am just running back to fight the boss, I don't even fight the enemies, but since I'm getting the items, I'm clearing everything out. There's so many of them in here. Man, 2 deaths in this episode already. And just for the sake of exploring the next section, I kind of feel like I need to get all these guys because they're going to follow me if I don't. Screw it. I'm going to YOLO it. So the way that you YOLO it is, well, normally you want to let this one come at you, then you want to go around the other side of the pillar. You just run, and they're all going to come after you. What we're after is there's a hole in the back, and that's what we would have done had we had killed this captain instead of gotten killed. And I'm setting a horrible example. And then they're going to drop down. I'm just going to kill them here. Oh, that time he pancaked. What the heck? All right. Triple kill. There's a lot of enemies in this room as well. And there are items here as well. Also flame salamanders. So we ain't out of the woods yet. Up. And yeah, the flame salamander shoots. I think technically we're up top. The flame salamander's down below, but I think they can still hit you. Thanks for that. Really appreciate it. Okay, and this couple items on corpses that are guaranteed pickups. Gotten some drops from the knights here. Thanks for that. Got some repair powder, and I think this is life gems. Alright. Now the boss is straight ahead. But we got some more stuff to pick up first. We're gonna go back to like kind of where we entered this room. And that item was a drop from an enemy, but it fell through. That's not a guaranteed pickup down there. Okay, so we want to go to the right. And up here is the twin blade +7. I'll go on and pick this loot up. I'm pretty sure that's it for items down here. I'm gonna give it just a quick look-see. I think we're good. Yeah. We're gonna go back upstairs now. And so this boss, even if I kill him first try, I'm gonna show you the run back. Because the run back is tricky with the enemy, with how many enemies are in here. So since we've killed all the enemies, we're safe. We can buff all we want before the boss. But if you have the enemies chasing after you because you didn't kill them and you're just trying to run back to the boss, you're not going to have that luxury. They're going to be attacking you while trying to buff. So you want to get in that fog gate as quickly as possible. But one thing you can do is if you quit out of the game, like through the menu, after entering the boss fog, you'll spawn outside of the fog and the enemies will be reset and you'll have time to buff and go in and fight the boss. So that's what I would recommend on subsequent tries. Here, we just happen to have all the enemies dead. So, you know, it's not a problem for us to buff. But if you want to buff on subsequent tries and you don't kill all the enemies, then you're going to want to enter the fog, quit out, buff, and then re-enter the fog. So this is Sir Alonne. We've been fighting his knights all along. And he is tough, but he has a couple punishable attacks. He has some combos. So basically, I wait for him to attack, and then I get one attack in. And he has some combos. He has attacks from far away where he'll kind of like glide towards you. This attack, you don't want to dodge right when you see the glowing sword. If you do that, he'll track you and he'll hit you. You want to wait for just a second and then dodge, and then that'll give you time to that'll time your dodge correctly so you don't get hit. And so that's his dash attack. You can dodge out of the way and hit him if you have stamina. Stamina management is actually pretty key in this fight. So there's his dash attack. I'm going to use this opportunity to heal. Does it again. Nope, he's doing his combo. 2 hits there. Punish. So this attack where he dashes is the easiest one to punish. I just got caught without stamina. And this attack actually, if you get the dodge timing right, it's actually pretty easy to punish. So you see, dash attack, easy to punish. Actually stunned there, but I need to regain my stamina. So dash attack, dodge, punish. That's the way to do it. And now my durability is almost out, so I'm gonna have to repair here. Oh, that was bad. I tried healing and I didn't have a window. That might have been too early for a dodge, but it worked out. All right, so I need to prepare and have a chance. All right, that's as good a time as any. Maybe not as good a time as any, but good enough. There's actually an Easter egg. If you kill this boss, so he's a samurai. If you kill this boss without getting hit, so you basically have to no-hit him, he actually commits seppuku at the end, and he stabs himself. Like, he has to die with honor. He can't stand the fact that we no-hit him, and so he just offs himself. And it's an Easter egg that you only get if you have to no-hit him for it to happen. So on my prep live streams, I was determined to get the no-hit. It took me like an hour, but I eventually got it because I just wanted to do it. And it's actually pretty cool. It's a cool little nugget that they throw in there. And that is Sir Alonne. Good, clean fight. At least good enough and clean enough for me. Let's go all the way in the back. And we get our smelter wedge. Now, I did promise that if I beat him on my first try, I would show you how to do the runback. Because this runback is tricky. As I said, there's so many enemies in the way that it does make it tricky to run back. But there is a way to do it, and I'll show you after I spend my souls. I'm not leaving 122,000 souls on the line. Okay, that's good enough. And I'll read Sir Alonne's soul as well. Very cool boss fight. One of my favorites in the game. Once served the old Iron King, Sir Alonne came from an eastern land and became the king's most trusted knight. So let us go back. Fortunately, we have that bonfire right outside of the memory, the smelter throne. That's where we're headed. I'll show you. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it can be done. You can get to him without fighting anything. We just have to be quick. I already showed you how to get past that first part, but you can get past the whole thing. So again, I kind of like bait this guy around here and then take the other way around the column to get him out of the way. Manage that stamina, roll when you need to. It is tricky. I'm not going to lie. It ain't easy doing this, but I'm just showing you that it is possible. You don't have to kill everything. Oh, geez. That was bad. You don't have to kill everything to get back to the boss room. And even if it takes me a few tries, I've done this many times. Again, going back to my first playthrough, Sir Alonne took me several tries to kill in my first playthrough. And I do distinctly remember going back to that boss room without killing everything every time. But this is also why I did not want 120 some odd thousand souls on the line. Because it is risky. But in my opinion, it's better doing it this way than fighting everything every time. That just gets old. It gets really old doing it that way. Oh, I'm out of stamina. Dadgummit. Okay, this is a very bad example, as it turns out. Because I'm not able to do it anymore, apparently. But you guys saw me when I went to the first time I died. I made that stretch just fine. And then the enemies were lured down to the bottom. And, you know, it went pretty smoothly. But for whatever reason, I'm not able to recreate that success right now. If worse comes to worse, I will splice in my, I did it successfully on my prep live stream. If worse comes to worse, I'll splice that in, even though I'm not having much success when I'm trying to record it for the walkthrough. There we go. All right, we made it. Heal up real quick. Now for the second stretch. So kind of the trick is to dodge right before if they're about to attack you. Here we go. We made it. And the fog wall is gone, so that means they're probably going to follow me in here, unfortunately. Maybe they leash. Do they leash? Yeah, it looks like they leashed. So that's how you do it. And as demonstrated before, I don't have a 100% success rate with doing it that way, but I probably get it on average 7 or 8 times out of 10. And for me, it's much better doing it that way than fighting all of the enemies every time I want to retry the boss. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go back to the beginning here. We have one more smelter wedge that we got, and we're going to take out the final Ashen Idol. Or really, it's the first Ashen Idol. Be gone! We need our final soul fragment, which will yield us the actual soul. We get Soul of Nadalia, Bride of Ash, the real soul, the full-fledged soul that we actually need. Here we go. We actually need for a spell required for the trophy. So what I want to do here is wait for this elevator to come up. And then we can hop over here. We get the Baneful Bird Ring. Let's check it out. Reduces stamina loss when blocking with a shield. Ring of Rame, the Traitor. Reduces stamina loss when blocking with shield. Rame was an agile swordsman who served King Vendrick, but after resigning from his post, he reconsidered his way of life and was born again as a stalwart warrior. So he says he served King Vendrick. He was actually a sidekick along with Velstadt. Like him and Velstadt went hand in hand together. They both served the king. What happened with Rame was he started to doubt the queen's intentions and kind of called that into question. And that did not fly with Velstadt, who was blindly loyal to the king. And it also didn't fly with the king and queen. And so what happened was him and Velstadt got into a fight. Velstadt won, and Rame was exiled, and he came here and became the Fume Knight. Let's see. So we want to go back to Strayed, so we can turn in the Soul of Nadalia or the spell we need.
So, if you bigger.
45,000 for Outcry. So we need 15,000 more.
Cast one. Let's hope.
Not enough souls. There we go. Almost exact.
So, if you bigger.
And we get Outcry from the Soul of Nadalia. I don't know if I've talked to him, because if you get enough of his stuff, he gives you something if you talk to him. I think we've already done that though. All right, so last but not least, we got another crown. Let's pay Vendrick, good old Vendrick, a visit. You should have more to say. Same routine as before. We're just gonna run past everything. You can kill the hollows down there if you don't want to have to dodge the ghosts that spawn in here. Kill the bell ringing hollows. Almost got hit there. I'm pretty sure you should have some new dialogue. If not, oh well. I think he gets new dialogue after each of the crowns that you get.
Seeker of fire, I see you've subdued another foul creature. One of the father of the abyss spawn. That confounded quintessence of humanity. The abyss once had form, but then dissipated. And yet, traces of its existence endured. Each fragment, thirsting for power, spread dark with no relent. My dear Chandra was one such fragment. A feeble, tiny thing that thirsted for power more than any other. Driven by insatiable lust for a worthy vessel. Fire came to be, and with it, disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, light and dark. Dark was seen as a curse. Shadow is not cast, but born of. And the brighter the flame, the deeper the shadow. Inherit fire, and harness the dark. Such is the calling of a true. Dark was seen. Shadow is.
All right, so some very interesting tidbits there. So this is technically, I think, the dialogue from getting the first crown, but for whatever reason, it doesn't trigger until you get the next one. And he's referring to the boss that we killed in the first DLC, Alonne. You remember her? And he made reference to her being being one of the fragments of the abyss, which we had talked about before. And you know, he said traces of the abyss have endured, and then they turned into these beings that were driven by lust and power, very much selfishly. And then he mentioned, this is like a bombshell, I guess, at this point in the game, because we haven't got to the end yet. He mentioned Nashandra is one of those fragments of the abyss. So it turns out that he was being duped the entire time by Nashandra, who, you know, we haven't even seen her real form yet, but he was being duped. King Vendrick is being duped by Nashandra, who is one of these fragments of dark, who's just, you know, she's lusting after the power of the throne, which is why she was drawn to the king in the first place. And so what we found out was what we talked about Raim earlier, how he was casting doubt into Nashandra's intentions. It turns out he was right. And it just was kind of Vendrick's unwillingness to accept kind of the reality or even notice what was going on. And then Velstad's blind loyalty to it all that kind of led to the downfall. So pretty interesting stuff there. So anyways, that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. So we killed 2 bosses, got a lot done. Hopefully you found success. These bosses are tough, some of the toughest in the game, in my opinion. So the next time we get together here in the walkthrough, we're going to be going through the Iron Passage, which is another really crazy area, and with a fairly tough boss at the end of this one as well. So anyways, stay tuned for some more, and we'll catch you next time. Take care, everybody.